Welcome to the Nightmare Zoo. Subscribe and never look at the forest the same way again. Viewer discretion is advised.
4 screaming seconds. The nightmare encounter with the Wendigo. The wind was a starving thing, whining around the edges of the tiny aluminum cabin. We were ice drilling north of Lake Superior, a forgotten stretch of Canadian wilderness, 300 miles from the nearest town. It was 3 a.m. I was checking the seismic monitoring equipment when the temperature plunged, not gradually, but instantly, like someone had opened the door to space. My breath froze mid-air. Then came the smell. It was the stench of a butcher shop floor, left baking in August coppery, rotten, and intensely wrong. I grabbed my flare gun and shone my flashlight out the rear window. The beam cut through the heavy snowfall, illuminating the tree line 50 yards away. Nothing. I was turning back to the equipment when the snow outside my window moved. It wasn't wind. Something impossibly tall detached itself from the shadows, its limbs like splintered birch branches, thin and reaching. It was pale gray, practically translucent, and its skin was pulled taut over its skeleton, visible and starving. Its head was skull-like, crowned with warped sharp antlers that scraped the lowest branches. Its eyes were the worst part, sunken, yellow embers glowing with an ancient, frantic hunger. That's when the 4 screaming seconds began. It let out a cry that wasn't a roar or a shriek, but a sound of pure, endless starvation. It was high-pitched, vibrating inside my skull, mimicking the sound of my own panic attack, and laced with an inhuman, rattling clatter of teeth. In a single impossible bound, it covered the 50 yards to the cabin. I didn't see it move. It simply arrived. It slammed its skeletal, razor-tipped hand against the aluminum wall beside my head. The force was enough to dent the metal inward, throwing sparks. I fired the flare gun directly through the window glass, aiming for its chest. The flare hit the creature, bursting into blinding magnesium light and smoke. It didn't scream. It didn't recoil. It just paused, its yellow eyes burning through the smoke, its mouth wide in a silent, predatory grin. The flare only held its attention for the single second it took me to grab my satellite phone and dive under the cot. When the flare died, the terrifying hunger returned, and the Wendigo began to scratch, slowly and deliberately, at the thin aluminum wall, searching for a place to tear its way in. I could hear its wet, heavy breathing inches from my face. I never looked up. I just held the phone, praying for morning.